Welcome to Out of Spec Reviews. My name is Liam. I am going to be doing my driving impressions on the 2021 Sequoia Nightshade Edition. I'm going to go over a few things that this vehicle has interior-wise before we get on the road. So, as the standard Sequoia has, it has a 5.7 liter dual overhead cam iForce V8. Makes about 380 horsepower, and it is actually very charismatic. It makes a good bit of noise. We'll get to that here in a little bit. Just some active safety stuff and interior bits to go over. It does have the Toyota Safety Sense pre-collision system with pedestrian detection, dynamic radar cruise control, lane departure alert, blind spot monitoring and cross traffic alert, automatic high beams, power lift gate with jam protection and power window, front and rear park assist via sonar, and safety and remote connect with a 1-year trial service. Now the interior has the 7-inch optional touchscreen. It says it's premium. I think it's a little small. Optional touchscreen infotainment system, 3-zone auto climate control with air filter, plenty of seating in the back, 7 seats, power heated and reclining driver and passenger seats, fantastic. And as part of the Nightshade edition, everything is black in the interior, and it gets special leather seats as part of that package. Now, some of the options we have back here, the 9-inch display, wireless headphones, things like that. And then the main thing I want to talk about here is the optional JBL 14 speaker premium sound system, and it's great. Massive subwoofer in the back as well. Now the Sequoia starts at $63,345 for the regular Sequoia. With the options included on this one, that price jumps up to $68,273, which is not a crazy premium for how much you get. Press the start button and get on the road. See how it does around town. Right on startup, you can hear that massive fan clutch that runs off of the accessory drive. It makes a bunch of racket, but it does a fantastic job of cooling the motor. Now, for a vehicle of its size, I have to say it's actually pretty easy to see visibility wise up front. While the A-pillar is pretty thick, it's in a decent spot so that you're not really blocking, it's not really blocking anything that you're looking at going this way, especially when you turn left. Very easy stuff. Up front, we have a mostly analog setup for the tachometer on the left and the speedometer on the right. You have all of your basic just vehicle monitoring stuff, fuel, voltage, oil pressure, and coolant temp, all in analog form. I like that. It's one less thing to go wrong. Fantastic. And then here in the middle, I don't know if you can see it on this GoPro, but you have a little information screen that gives you everything from your basic compass to audio and multimedia stuff. The Sequoia is based on the Tundra, which is a truck, right? It is a body on frame design, which means that the body sits separate to the frame. The Sequoia and Tundra share the same frame. There is a stigma that vehicles that are designed like that, quote unquote, ride like a truck, and there's some truth to that. Going over little bumps, even something like this, you can kind of feel the chassis flex and wiggle. There is none of that in the Sequoia. It's actually great. You don't realize you're driving something built on a truck frame. I think that's fantastic, and frankly best in class. Works really, really well. The brakes have a good amount of initial bite. Even just coming up to a stoplight, they're very easy to modulate, despite having that bite. They're not too sensitive, and they don't leave you kind of jerking around uncomfortably. It works really, really well. The dual climate zone is very, very, very easy to use. I love how it's all analog stuff. It's kind of cold here in Colorado today, so I've got it cranked up, but I am just burning up right now, so I'm going to turn that down to about 70, like that. All right, green light, go. it's easy. For a vehicle of its size too, you don't feel as much of that size just driving around traffic. You don't feel nervous if there's vehicles in your blind spot or if they're getting close to you or anything like that. It's actually really, really easy to drive. You don't have to have any experience driving an SUV or anything like that. You could have your friend, your significant other, maybe even your grandma jump in and drive it, and they will likely have no problem getting around, and it's not a nerve-wracking experience at all, which is something that I have experienced in other SUVs, specifically when visibility is an issue, which it's absolutely not in the Sequoia. It's all really, 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 really easy to use, actually. I will update here in a second when we get to the interstate and let you guys know how it does there. We are pulling up to the on-ramp for the interstate now in the Sequoia. Let's see how it does with highway driving. We have a little construction zone that we have to go through up here, and I'm actually confident that this is going to be pretty easy to drive through there. Like I said earlier, it doesn't feel like as big of a vehicle as it is, and it is absolutely huge. So it will be interesting to see how well it works in those scenarios as well. So here we go. Around right here, couple bumps, no problem. The Sequoia eats it up. Alrighty. There's a bit of that induction noise right there that I was talking about earlier. It's great. Plenty of torque for merging onto the interstate. I'm just at part throttle right now. I have no issue keeping up with traffic. We'll kick it down a little bit. Listen to that V8E. Oh, it's fantastic. I really, really like that. And yeah, not difficult to drive at all. The steering is so easy to you just get in and go. No other word for it. It's not too light, it's not too sensitive. The weighting on it is absolutely perfect. This is something that a lot of modern vehicles with electric steering systems suffer with. Nah, not at all for the Sequoia. It's great. Look at how close we are to this wall here with traffic, and I am not panicking, not sweating at all. This is really, really easy. Just point it where you want to go and let the truck do the rest of the work. It's absolutely fantastic. We'll do the cruise control real quick. I know we're in traffic, but there we go. Press that button down, press set. Boom, cruise set at 70 miles an hour. Just kick back, relax, turn the tunes up, have some conversation, no problem at all. Traffic's moving a little quicker, so we'll bump that up real quick. Fantastic. The ride quality is great. The tires make almost no road noise. I believe they're Bridgestone Duelers HL tires on here. They work fantastic. Hardly any noise. No kind of that drone that you get from larger off-road tire. Absolutely nothing of the nature with the Sequoia. It's fan-freaking-tastic. And look at that, sitting at just about 2,000 RPMs at 75 miles an hour. The gearing on the 6-speed automatic from equipped to the Sequoia is perfect. I can imagine for towing and just any kind of extended driving, it's really, really well suited for that. And around town, it offers crisp shifts and it's pretty seamless. Well, that does it for the interstate section. Here we are on Colorado Highway 7 now, coming back into town. We'll see how it does on more of a bit of an urban highway. This one is still a boulevard, but you have stopping lights. There's a new one. Traffic lights and a little bit more stop and go, but same thing. It's easy to drive. You don't have to think about anything. Just kind of point it where you want to go and relax. It's great. The leather steering wheel is far and away the nicest part of the interior, maybe other than the seats. Some of the plastic feels a little bit cheaper, especially over by the glove box, but that is okay. It's not trying to be. If you wanted something that had a really nice interior from Toyota, you'd go buy a Lexus LX570. That's not Not what this is trying to be at all. A little bit chilly in here. I'm just gonna adjust the temperature using the analog gauges here in the middle, which are, it's so easy to use. I love that. A lot of vehicles, there is a learning curve, so to speak, with how the infotainment system works, and a lot of the HVAC controls are through that infotainment system. With this, not at all. There's very clearly two knobs. You adjust those, and that is it. So we are going to go up towards the mountains a little ways and see how this big bird does in some more dynamic situations. All right, we are just coming up to the snaky bit of our favorite little canyon road. This is just such a gem having this close to town. I'm not going to tell you which road it is, but if you know the scenery, you should be able to figure it out pretty quickly for yourself. Now, just after a couple of corners, I can tell that this is an almost 6,000 pound tank. That said, it rides remarkably well, all considered, especially in the corners. Kind of dive in a little bit here, and it's relatively flat, all considered. Actually, that wasn't bad at all. It will not let you short shift at a wide open throttle. I kind of like just keeping it in the torque band and letting it ride out, short shifted around 4 grand. However, the noise that it makes is absolutely fantastic. And you know what? The steering feel and response is actually really good. Like I said, you would never ever drive one of these up here just for that, but it has a lot more potential than I would have thought. This is great. Part of that is the 20-inch wheels do have a little bit stiffer sidewall on them, just because the aspect ratio, it's a little bit narrower, makes it stiffer. That may have something to do with it, but so this guy's gonna let us go around. Thank you, sir. It's, I mean, I have, for what this vehicle is, I have no complaints about. Let's see, turn in, let it load up once it gets planted. No problemo. This is great for a freaking Sequoia. Oh my goodness. Wowie, wow. This is one of the most impressive things about the Sequoia. All right, well, I'm going to update when I get up to the top, and then I'm going to briefly take this on a little unpaved section of road and let you know how it performs there. All right, we are just reaching the top of my favorite little section of Canyon Road. Oh, look at that. There's even some mud for us to roll through. Awesome. We are going to go up to a little spot that has a fantastic view and see how this does off-road. A lot of corrugations here. It's all washboarded. Honestly, it's doing really well, especially for a non-active system. Traction doesn't seem to be an issue at all, despite only being in 2-wheel drive on a steep, wet little climb. No problem. And now I know this is a large vehicle, however, piloting it on this, I don't know if you can tell, but that's a pretty serious drop on the right. It's not too bad. It's not nerve-wracking at all. It's, you just kind of get in and go. There you can kind of feel the corrugations just a little bit. It's there. Part of that is probably the 20-inch wheels, specifically for the Nightshade edition. However, oh man, that view is so great. I will show you when we get up to the top. Little off-camber spot there, no problemo. I think you viewers are absolutely going to love this. We are at an elevation of about 8,300 feet as we come up here, and the Sequoia does great off-road. It's perfect for being driven to spots like this. No problem whatsoever. Ride quality still fine, like I said, especially for a vehicle that does not have adjustable dampers. Works great. Oh my goodness. A beautiful view. I've never seen it look this good during the day. It's awesome. Turn around real quick. And just like that, you guys can see it all for yourselves. All right, that concludes my driving impressions for the 2021 Sequoia Nightshade. I think that the ride quality is absolutely superb, especially when mated to the 5.7 liter iForce V8. While it's not the most modern interior, the infotainment system is a little small. Everything is very easy to use. There's a ton of space, and it'll get the job done with just about anything. I don't really have any serious complaints other than it's just a little bit outdated. Other than that though, I think it's absolutely fantastic, especially if you're a potential buyer that necessitates needing to carry at least 6 to 7 people. The amount of space this thing has is just, it's ridiculous. Watch our walk around video to see me, a 6'1" male, in all sets of seats. There is plenty of room. So with that being said, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.